We're sitting at 1048 shade from yesterday. 3 days, 2 hours, and 59 minutes played. I think we hit, what was 1,000 shade at 3 days played, just under 3 days played. Which is pretty good, because that means we spent about 20 hours getting level 40, and then like the last 52 hours just grinding endgame. The goal with, I think, the rest of this GE that's going on right now, which is the headshot one called Reanimated, is that we're going to try to use it to see if we get DZ exclusives without going to the Dark Zone, while simultaneously working on maxing out our current build and maybe making like one more build. Maybe we should put doing all the legendaries solo as like another random goal, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, we're pretty far along already. You know, at this point, it's just we gotta do a bunch of control points, get the rest of the blueprints, so that we can actually optimize stuff the way we should be optimizing stuff. And the thing about optimization is we're really just doing it because we want to. Like this build that I have that lets me solo heroic 5 directives is like, it doesn't need more gear. It's already good, you know. So that's what we'll be doing over the next couple days. Maybe we'll stream Neo 2 at some point. Have like a fresh game to learn, but if I do that, I might get distracted. So you know, should probably not, not yet. What's going on, Bomb Scout, Gamer Comics, Eerie? Hello, good evening. So yeah, I think we left off.
Automated external defibrillators detected on hostiles.
This is still
Safe area detected.
Active. We got 34 stars. I guess we can afford to play around with the clan caches too. What SHD am I at? I'm at 1048. It's in the top right corner. Let's open these now because they don't really have much of an impact anymore. They're just there. Looks like we had a little week reset thing going on. I think we're already chilling on this stuff, yeah. We already maxed out this guy. We're not going to need any backpack. Unless it's a vigilance bag. We've already found a spotter chest. We already found this that we could turn into whatever talent we want it to turn into. We already have pristines that are usable. Intimidate Gruppo chest that's very usable. In terms of making a DPS build in this game, like, we really went out and found a lot of stuff just by playing one build and playing heroic. It is really not difficult at all to get your stuff together in this game. And being in the position that I'm in where like I kind of know which items I want to bother with and which ones I don't. Tips for new players. You could try to watch my VODs or my highlights of me playing on this new account to try to pick up on stuff. But for your first ever playthrough from like 1 to 40, I mean, just, you know, enjoy it. Don't skip it. Play it. The kind of tips I can give you are that are more impactful are gonna be like, you know, focus on your main missions first. Side mission second, from like a leveling perspective. Don't delay on doing all your you know, on your don't delay on doing Capitol Hill so you can go to the world tier system. Do all the content in order so you can enjoy the narrative before you go to Woni. Do Woni. You wasted 2K hours for nothing. I mean, is this game your job? Because all games are a waste of time. You turn time into entertainment. If you didn't have fun for 2,000 hours, that's your fault, I guess. What else do you want as an answer? The whole, like, thing about wasting time on a game, it's like, I mean, you're playing a game. I don't know what... It sounds like you had fun, and then you're recognizing that you overplayed it and you're burnt out or something. I don't regret playing this game for 2,000 hours. I just wish I had more. But to go around and just be like, this game's not dead yet, and then regretting the time you put into the game, I mean, like, it sounds like you were addicted to it and didn't have any self-control at that point. Like, that's kind of on you to control yourself if you're gonna let something get to that point. Yeah, I mean, however you choose to spend your time, right? Especially in the context of playing a game. I mean, you're playing a goddamn game. I don't know, like, do you value time purely based off of the money you gain from it or something? Because then at that point, it's like all games are a waste of time unless you're literally trying to make money off of playing games. Can't walk by here.
Detected. Agent incapacitated.
I'm just here for the control point. Why are there so many people? I shoot a grenade sideways.
Serious trauma.
Why are there so many random fucking people here, dude? Jesus. The fat boys? You want to shoot the red weak point on their back. So like the True Sun fat boys, the Chunguses, whatever you want to call them, the tanks. You can shoot the giant red explosive thing on their backpack from the front. And then it detonates their chest plate, and then you can shoot them in the balls basically, and it'll hit their body. That's the easiest way, is to just make sure you learn where their weak points are and just target those every time.
Hostile control point nearby.
If Div 1 is, in your opinion, better than this, then go play it. Why are you here? You know, like, are you looking for sympathy because you're depressed about Division 2 or something? Like, I don't... Like, what are you doing with your time right now, Skyline? Alright? You want to be miserable about this game after playing it for 2,000 hours? Your best bet is to, like, I don't know, go on the subreddit or something. Or go do something that makes you happy instead of just sitting here being miserable and chat about something that not everyone feels the same way about. You're in control of your own life, dude. No point in sitting around being miserable when you have the power to change it.
Detected. Nearby location. By hostiles. Heavily armored hostile detected.
It's not about admitting where the game is, like, not getting any more updates or, you know, quote unquote it's dead. It's about you being depressed enough about it and not capable of controlling yourself, and choosing the best course of action for yourself is not to go into some Twitch stream and sit here and shit talk the game. The best course of action for you should be to go and make yourself happy elsewhere. Why the fuck are you still sticking around if you're gonna be miserable about the game? Like, get some help. Know when to cut your losses and bail. Just because people disagree with you doesn't make them toxic, Skyline.
Hostile control point detected. Friendly control point nearby. Supply room access unlocked.
That green effect, that's from the global event. So right now, up until next week, basically like by the end of Monday night into Tuesday morning, if you go to your, you press the menu key, you go to your seasons, you come over here to this global event reanimated thing and turn it on. Right here. Then whenever you get a headshot kill, they blow up with a green smoke. And it's like really strong now. It used to be a really terrible global event, but now they made it really good. So you have the rest of this week into the beginning of next week to play with it. This game is 100% worth the money. It's been on sale multiple times and whatnot. Now, for the people that have been playing it a long time, right? You've been playing it too long, and the reason you've been playing it too long is because there's nothing else that can fill the gap. That's why you're playing it. I get that. That's why I'm playing it a lot too. Like, there ain't shit to play right now, so it's either you keep playing this or find a way to have fun with it. Or find something, like, it's up to you ultimately to figure out how to use your free time to entertain yourself or to make yourself feel better. But coming to my Twitch chat room to just sit here and just talk shit about the game out of nowhere without, maybe thinking about a better way to use your time productively or whatever, like, that's... I don't want to hear that shit.
Reinforcements incoming.
Put crit and talents on your weapons. There's only 3 talent slots in this game. Your chest, your backpack, and your weapon, right? Your chest talent is the single most important thing because the most amount of power in your build for like a gun build comes from your chest talent. That's why I one-shot stuff. Because I'm using the most powerful headshot talent in the game because there's only really one headshot talent in the game. A second account for floor 100 farms? What do you mean? A second account for a floor 100 farming.
Hostile control point identified.
Floor 90 is better from a target loop perspective. And it's like a self-contained farm, like you don't need to rely on anybody else for that. Are you saying you would want to have a second account so you can host yourself a floor 100 checkpoint over and over or something? Is that what you were going for? Do I PvP? I PvP in games that actually have good PvP. This is not one of them.
Supply room access unlocked.
I don't think having a second account for floor 100 is going to be worth it. Hunters, it takes a lot longer to do floor 100 than floor 90. And you have to go the whole joining on somebody else for the checkpoint part. It's not as like fast to replay it and it's slower to clear, so it's not really worth the loot. Because even the target loot from the hunters, it's not all guaranteed to be the thing you're looking for. It's a bunch of random junk plus one target loot or something for each guy. And when you're solo, you only have 2 hunters to kill. When you do floor 90 solo, you have 300 or 3 guys to kill. What's a game with good PvP? Honestly, almost everything has better PvP than this. So if we're talking competitive balanced PvP with like ranks and stuff, like you got Counter-Strike, you got Valorant. Talking games that are also on console, like shit, Apex is definitely better than this. You know, if you're in the elementary through maybe like high school bracket, you know, maybe you should go play some Fortnite. I don't know, play something that actually has a future when it comes to like competitive play or tournament play or ranked play or something. Don't, if you're actually good at PvP, like don't waste any talents on trying to PvP in a game with terrible PvP.
CP captured. Good job.
I forgot to flare again. What's up, Mike? My day is off to a good start, dude. I basically woke up, got myself some Chick-fil-A. Haven't had that in over a year, and that was a nice. that was a good experience. Those chicken sandwiches of theirs are unmatched. Come on, wake up. Just barely missed that. Gotta kill this guy. You finish the story, you're level 30. Should you do DLC and up to 40 and focus on world tier. You have to do world tier 1 through 5 first, so focus on that. Do, like, look at the strongholds and, you know, do the missions that are linked. The invaded missions that are linked, then go to the stronghold, rinse, repeat until you're in world tier 5. Once you're in world tier 5, since you're new, you should also do all the content that became before Woni. So you understand, like... So you get a feel for, like, the entire game's story and how it, like, changed before Woni happens. Why would I not go for raid exclusives on this account? Because I already have them on my main account. I don't give a shit. There's only one raid exclusive worth a damn, and that's the Regulus. But Liberty's fine, and it's not that big of a deal. I don't need to go put up with a random LFG group to go get myself a pistol over the next 2 weeks that I don't plan on using past the point at which I've, you know, gotten what I've gotten out of this account. Like, I remember, this is my second account, not my first. I already have everything in this game on my main account. And the reason I'm doing this playthrough or whatever was to just see, like, how many different things I would need to do to basically, like, if I was on an entirely fresh account, doing everything by myself, with no help from others. You know, no raiding, no dark zone. Like, let's say I'm a player that just bought the game and it's been out for 10 years, right? And I just want to play it and go the full route or full way through. Let's pretend there's, like, literally no other people on Earth playing this game except me. Then this is the shit that I would do. That makes sense. What does massive need to do to create good PvP in their eyes? Well, I think all looter shooters are always destined to have shit PvP if they're going to have RPG stats. Which is why this game PvP is garbage. Like hell, Destiny's got better PvP than this, and y'all know how I feel about that game. The reason that game's got better PvP, even though it's still also a game I wouldn't care about, is just because there's way less of the games, like, of the RPG stats and all that stuff coming into play. People die a little bit faster, there's movement. Unfortunately, from all the people that I've heard playing the game, that they really hate that stasis thing that's going on. That kind of ruins the vibe. But since that game is more simple, it's easier to make a better core PvP experience when you don't have like a million variables in your character to worry about. This game's also third person, so it also diminishes the skill gap even further. Testing Outriders, never got to play that game. But I'll play it on February 25th. Oh god, I'm still dazed. But yeah, I mean, the thing that goes with this game's PvP is like the same thing I could say about like certain board games. Like, if I was gonna choose a game to play against somebody else, would I want to play checkers or would I want to play chess? Would I want to be good at checkers, which probably has a lower skill gap or whatever, than being good at chess, which has a higher ceiling, right? Games that have more depth. Games that have, I don't know, better balance. It doesn't mean you can't have fun playing checkers, like how some people have fun playing the dark side of this game. But I'd rather, given there's so many other games I could play for PvP, go play something else if I want a PvP in a game where, like, you know, skill matters more. Skill doesn't really fucking matter in this game. Just whether or not you know what the meta is, really. And then, even then, it's like the gap between somebody who copied a meta build and is bad at it, I guess, versus somebody who has the meta build and is good at it. Even that gap is not super significant. Like, doesn't really take that much effort to reach the ceiling of like how good you can be at this game compared to other games where there's way more to learn and way bigger gaps between individual players because there's so much more you can do and so much more you can train yourself to do and to learn. Like, third-person shooters limit how good people can be because of the nature of third-person games, where you have like an asymmetrical advantage or disadvantage depending on your positioning. And the amount of effort it takes to react with your aim versus basically like pre-aim. Because, like, if I'm around a piece of cover, I can see enemies and where they are before I'm in the line of sight of them, right? So, like,
Detecting additional hostile contacts.
I watched the same things go down when I played PUBG before they even turned it into a fully, like, first-person based like competitive game. It had some third-person competitions for a while because the game unfortunately started third-person and eventually migrated to first. What's up, Jason?
Are you shitting me?
This game does a really good job at feeding people's ego, though, because of the fact that it's like 90% knowledge, like 10% skill. You'll see that. Not everyone that PvPs is like that, but a good number of people are. Some folks don't realize I did PvP in both games. Yeah, exactly. I've done but PvP in both. It's not like it's something I seek out actively. It's the nature of the game. If there is shit that I need from the Dark Zone, I will be in there to get it. I already have it. Got it months ago. If the nature of the game is that the Dark Zone truly is the end game like it used to be in Division 1, I was there. I was there every goddamn night. But, like, you'd have to be pretty new to the Division to say that, like, Division 2's endgame is still PvP at this point. This is most definitely, like, a PvE-focused game. I'm not saying there isn't the same, like a whole game, this game as a whole is 90% knowledge, 10% skill. PvE or PvP wise, but why the fuck would I want to PvP in this game when I have better options, you know? God. Oh, it was a lead patrol, that's what that was.
Hostile detected.
Head down next time. Gonna kill you. Back off.
What's up, Kappa?
Incoming hostiles detected. Serious trauma.
The drop here. Shouldn't shoot, that's good. Another fourth? Yeah, here he is. When I say Division 1 PvP, so first of all, the Dark Zone has to be the only place to get all the good shit. It has to be the place where everyone winds up and there are no alternatives. It literally needs to be the main focus of the game, because if I can get the best shit by not playing the Dark Zone, and I can literally farm it pretty much as fast, or if not faster, because of the nature of how you can farm PvE content, then there's no point in the Dark Zone. Like, look at Escape from Tarkov, right? To get shit in that game, you gotta put yourself in a PvP Dark Zone environment. There will be some mobs, right? Some PvE mobs to worry about that are just as lethal as players, if not more lethal sometimes. But everything you do in that game has you in their, you know, their instanced Dark Zone environments. Like, that's the focus of the game. Everyone is forced to go through it. Therefore, you know, if you're in that style of game, you go play that. In this game, the Dark Zones are a sideshow. They're just 3 little zones. You don't even have to fucking unlock them. They're still locked on this account.
Hostile control point detected. Supply room
And
access unlocked.
you can get exclusives from named caches by not PvPing anyways. Like, and even then, it's like, you go in that space to get the exclusives and, what, there's 12 people total in the Dark Zone? Like, who cares? The Regulus has nothing to do with the Manhunt or anything like that. I have it on my main account. The Regulus is a raid weapon. It's the only raid weapon worth going for, in my opinion. So if you're a new player or returning player and you don't have it yet, you should definitely consider looking into getting yourself like a team for the raid through like an LFG Discord or something. There should be plenty of people that have done them by now. There's other people that even do like raid carries, etc., etc. Don't pay for the goddamn gun. Just, you know, don't be feeding those scummy types that like try to sell raid exotics on shady websites. It's like that raid exotic has value. And that raid exotic is pretty goddamn fun to use. Surely some of you guys have played with a Firefly. What's it called? A Firefly hand cannon or whatever.
Control point secured. Well done.
In Destiny, that's basically what that thing is. what am I planning? So next week. So the idea with this playthrough right now, right, is I'm gonna take advantage of this global event. And see if I get
En route.
2 of the Dark Zone exclusives that I think are actually kind of worth getting.
Detecting additional hostile contacts.
Which there's like 4 Dark Zone exclusives that are kind of worth, but only one is like truly useful for a pistol builds. The other ones, what else is there? Hollow Man doesn't really have that much value anymore because it got nerfed to where I don't know if there's people that still use it even for like a raid. But yeah, just for the sake of this playthrough, where again we're holding ourselves to pretending like we will never play with anyone ever, because a lot of people are like that in this game, and there will be plenty of other people like that in the future. There will be people who buy this game, however many months or years down the road, to experience it, and they sure as hell won't bother with the raid, probably won't bother with matchmaking, and the whole point was to simulate that process with this account. So I'm just showing that, like, you know, how far you can get without the help of others, really. Or pretending that, like, you are, you know, that no one else plays the game. Hollow Man on Razorback? I mean, Hollow Man on Razorback makes sense, but it's Hollow Man at this point is a niche, like, PvE item basically for raiding. Or if and only if you care about doing it fast. So, like, think about how many people do raids in this game, right? And then think of the people that do raids, how many of them, like, truly need the little bit of extra damage for health. And it's like the smallest of small subsets of players, because not everyone does the raid. Everyone should at least experience them, but, like, you know, there's people that just won't do them. And then, the people that do raids, most of them are just gonna do the raids because they want the exclusives, and then they're done. And then there's a percentage of people that do raids because they want to be the fastest, and there's a percentage of people that do raids to help others. So, anyways, so that's like the thing with this account. It's just what's left is to basically get all the blueprints and to max out a couple of builds. Maybe I'll also just solo the legendaries, just to solo the legendaries. Shouldn't be too bad. I've done that before. And then the whole other thing was the idea that, like, you know, since we're lucky enough to have a global event right now, that's like happens to just be really has to be like right on point with how I'm playing, right? The headshot GE. It's like, all right, well, might as well show like what happens when you just play a GE the whole time, get all these stars, and see if we get Dark Zone items. Because, like, that's cool. There's actually a way to get them. Not everyone's aware that, like, you can get exclusive items out of those caches, so yeah, that's an option. But I mean, in the long term, it's like, yeah, like I wanted to do a bunch of like YouTube stuff that was like up to date and useful to anyone going forward, and then like Outriders will be like the next looter shooter to play, because, you know, that's new. That's something that should be fun to learn, and it will be a big focus once it actually comes out in April. We'll also play the demo on the 25th of February. But yeah, don't just play one game ever. Like, I've streamed other stuff. The majority of people that have watched me play this game aren't, like, they're pretty committed to this game, I think, or this genre. But I've played games that are like PC only or whatever, where anyone that's been here for the Division days are just kind of like, you know, piece them out. I started speedrunning. I mean, speedrunning as a concept has been around for a very long time. I think we're the first people in the division to speedrun the raid, maybe to like create that little bit of a cultural shift for like the smallest percentage of tryhard PvEers in this game.
Hostile control point identified.
But yeah, what else? We finish up this account. You know, do our fair share of YouTube stuff. I think in the near term, I might check out Neo 2, which is supposed to come out to PC tomorrow. But like, if I commit to that game and play it, then like, pretty much anything else I would do in my free time related to this game probably wouldn't happen. I just need to find games to play or things to do to kill time until Outriders, really. Like Neo 2 doesn't sound like a bad idea. Like, if there were other games to play this year, I wouldn't be on this game right now. I mean, how many people do you know that have multiple accounts of this game that have bothered to play both accounts long enough to be over 1,000 shade rank? Getting to 1,000 shade rank in our 72 hours of the gameplay, I think that's pretty funny.
Hostiles guarding location nearby.
Yeah, I've never played the Neo game, so like I don't know what to expect. Someone just said there was a cool loot system, but at the same time, it's like I hate that it's already been out for a while, so it's like it'll be new for me to learn, but not new in the general sense. What's up, Javi? You're thinking of getting a 10k shaded past time? I was thinking about doing that on my main, maybe. That's gonna be kind of soul sucking though, because like I don't have to look at loot. It would just be another, you know, 5,000 convoys. $5,000 convoys, you know, no big deal. If I go really fast with Regulus, you know, maybe I go like 30 convoys an hour instead of 25 an hour. Yo, Flesh, have you ever played Neo 2?
Detected from the control point in proximity. Supply room access unlocked.
Never heard of it. Yeah, I think it was like a console game primarily, but it's going on to PC tomorrow. It should be on Steam. People were saying it's actually got a good loot system.
Hostile control point nearby.
Like kind of like a, you know, kind of like a Dark Souls-y type game, I think, but like maybe faster paced with like better loot. I don't know. What's the green explosion? That's the GE. The global event. Horizon Zero Dawn? Nah. Some people said it was good. I just like, I I thought about it, but it's just like I really hate these games that come out on console first, then come out to PC like many months later. I really hate that. It's like really stupid. I like launches for games where it's all like all the same time for everybody. Because it's for me like a new game is the most fun to play when no one knows shit about it. Because I like being there day one. I like being there, like, pushing hard. Treating it almost like a race to, like learn the game and whatnot. When you go and I go into an existing game, it's kind of, like, not as cool to be the guy that figures some shit out because everything's been figured out.
Captured. Good job.
Reinforcements incoming. Incoming hostiles detected.
You know, it's fun as a grinding endgame or somewhat grinding endgame. I mean, that sounds promising for the short term. It would just be fun to learn something new. It just, again, I like that process way more when people are going in blind. Cause like I can only imagine streaming that game and having a bunch of dudes that like already played it out there and like throwing down with the backseating in the chat. Like not super enjoyable from that perspective. The end game is just grinding. I mean, every looter game's end game is grinding until either you're maxed out or you're satisfied of where you've gotten. Now with Path of Exile, there's like a bunch of other things you can progress towards in the end game. There's more there. But ultimately, every single one of these games is fundamentally about some amount of grinding until you're satisfied or until you're maxed otherwhere. If you're lucky, you could be playing a game that has seasonal resets. Those are the best kind of grinds. Is Path of Exile good? Yeah, if you like RPG, stats, builds, you want to put some stuff together, like that's the game. Like that is like that's the game. I don't know what else to say. Like it's free to play as well. You can literally just hop in whenever. It's on PC. I think it's actually on console as well. Just go play it. I want to play a game where I shoot guns and have that layer of complexity. Like, I don't mind top-down action RPGs, but I would much rather just shoot stuff while also collecting loot. Like, I don't know, just look up a Path of Exile build, like, right now. To see the kind of stuff that people explain in that game. There's a lot of depth to it. The passive skill tree that's going to look like really intimidating until you take the time to figure it out yourself, and it's not really as bad as it seems. That one's always fun to show people that have never seen it before. Because you look at this giant map full of a bunch of different nodes that you can click on, and everything's like a bunch of stats. That's always fun to get people's initial reactions on. But yeah. Like the way skills work in that game is like the skills are on items, and those items go into like gear sockets. So like you know how you mod gear in this game, you give it like a
Control point
A bit of
secured.
crit chance or a
Well
bit of crit damage. That game's got some real mods where you find, like your, I don't know, let's say your Seeker Mine, right?
Reinforcements.
Let's say your Seeker Mine is a mod. You get the mod Seeker Mine into your chest piece so that you can use Seeker Mine.
Additional hostile contacts.
Then you'd find another mod that's like, I don't know, multiple projectiles or something. So now your one Seeker Mine turns into like 6 Seeker Mines, right? Like clusters or something, right? So you have 2 mods in your chest piece. One is Seeker Mine and the other one is multiple projectiles or something, and that thing causes the linked mod, or it mods the other mod. So now you can, whenever you use Seeker Mine, you shoot multiple Seeker Mines. You go further and further with these skill gems, right? And next thing you know, maybe like you have another one linked up that's like, oh, it does more lightning damage, or it like does this thing or that thing, or it buffs this, or splits that, or curses this. Or, like, there's so many mechanics, but they all come down to like how you pick basically these skill gems and like these support gems to like do a bunch of crazy shit with whatever skills that you're choosing to use as like the foundation. And that's just like on one piece of gear, because like then you do that for like a bunch of other skills too. Like you'll have a whole action bar of like maybe like what skill you would use for single target, what skill you would use for like AoE mob clear, bunch other like buffs, debuffs, curses, minions, totems. There's a bunch of mechanics you can play around with over there. That's what really makes Path of Exile pretty sick. And that's just like on the skill side of things. So like every socket in your gear is for your skills and like, you know, what you would use to kill things. You still have all the gear itself and whatever stats and bonuses that might have, or unique bonuses it might have, you know, like exotics, right?
Friendly control
And you're
point
not stuck to
detected.
just wearing one exotic item in that game. You can wear a bunch of them depending on what your build's trying to do. But it gets crazier because on top of whatever your build does, and like your starting class and your passive skill tree and your skill gems and your support gems and all that shit, then you have a bunch of content you can run through in the game that will also give you some other stuff. There's also like your class ascendancies. They'll give you some other perks and whatnot for having done enough of the endgame stuff with the labs and whatnot. Then there's the actual endgame progress on like the maps or the atlas or whatever it's called, and then there's like all sorts of other like crazy endgame bosses that you can like push towards to truly like, I guess, beat the game. I don't know. There's just a lot. They're like, not only do you have all the fun of making cool builds, whether you just want to copy someone's build for your first time or do something crazier later on when, like, you know, you have the items and the currency to afford doing some crazy shit. Yeah, it's just nuts. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. That's the kind of game where you can definitely, if you like making builds and chasing items and stuff, like that's the one. I just want to see that level of complexity with guns. That's the dream game for me. How would I change my build? This is my main. I would use a Regulus and the claws out. That's it. And the only time you use the gift is when you want to like speedrun a mission with the same build. Because you don't need the gift damage. You don't need the gift damage when you're doing shit like this. You need your shield to not break.
CP captured. Good job.
Yeah, I mean, action RPGs aren't as fun to watch. The people that watch the game are generally there, you know, for whenever the new leagues hit, and then the fall off happens quick 'cause it's a PvE game. It's a top-down action RPG, right? It's really no different than this game, though. Except that game has a way bigger audience and way more consistent content, and this game has stuff once in a blue moon at this point. Even that's too high of a rate. Remnant from the Ashes. Hopefully we'll have a sequel or something, but I don't think they have any more content in that game. Remnant was really cool. I'm kind of sad they're not making more stuff with it, but I think they probably just better shot at they probably have a better shot if they
Hostile control point identified.
just sell a sequel or something down the line. I definitely want to see more games like Remnant though. That was a super good game. That was 100% worth it. And then Greedfall, I don't know, that was just like a story-based action RPG, if I remember. Like, I played through it. Well, yeah, a looter shooter that like actually has good randomized replayable content and lots of like endgame focused things for people to do, or you can stretch your build out to do all sorts of interesting and wild stuff. That'd be cool, but that's not how this game was built. This game was basically built to have static missions and stuff. But like I said, if anyone ever nails the whole Path of Exile with guns concept, then, you know, catch me on that game, I'll be there. Why can't you throw your grenades where I was and not where I was going to go, lady? Fucking hate this days bullshit. Because I got 60 FPS, yeah, welcome to what the game is supposed to feel like. And what all games should feel like for you. It's tragic that consoles have held you guys back this long at like 30 FPS. That gap you felt when you started playing this game at 60 and realizing how much easier things are is you realizing that you have less of a, you know, you used to have giant refrigerator size cement shoes at 30 FPS, and now it feels like you don't have that anymore. You're being held back from what you could actually accomplish. And the crazy thing is when you play on PC and you have a good rig and you're playing a game that actually can play, you know, at like 144 frames on a 144 monitor, you get that same level of jump. You realize how your old hardware and whatever game you were playing was holding you back from letting you play as well as you should be able to play. And that continues to be a thing even at the jump from 144 to 240. It's less of an impact, but it's still a jump. You'll still feel it.
Hostile control point nearby.
It's like, that's the thing, dude. Like, higher frames, higher refresh rates, better hardware, better input devices, everything, it all, like... That all ends up having a pretty big impact. And that's a pretty big deal if you're the type of player like me that actually wants to know, like, how good they can actually get at something. What's up, Busy? I have to get all my blueprints so I can actually make the Opti bundles, which is why I'm hitting this control point. Zombie mod or headshots only? I'm not sure what you're asking. What's up, Batman?
Detected. Guarded by hostiles.
Okay, actually shocked me. Big rain thing, it's a global event.
Incoming hostiles detected.
Headshot kills cause a green explosion. If you don't headshot kill them, they come back to life. So I think it's gonna be a reveal in 2 weeks for something, like it was for Moni, and no. Keep your expectations low and you'll never be disappointed. The obfuscations exist and it's really cheap, so why the hell would they bother making content when you go to the next level cap and max it all out in 5 hours and be bored again? Did we kill this guy?
Hostiles guarding location nearby.
It'd be cool if, like, you know,
Supply room access unlocked.
they just, like, out of fucking nowhere drop an expansion, but it's not happening, dude. There's no fucking way. They're working on Star Wars, they're working on Avatar. Basically, no one's working on this game. They're barely even talking to the community on this game. Like, this game is done. The odds of it being done versus not being done are really high in the favor of the game being done. It's kind of like still holding on to GameStop stock at this point. If you think it's gonna have an expansion or if you think it's gonna go back up. How many hours start fresh and get 1,000 shade? In total, like about just under 72 hours. The first about 19-20 hours we're playing all the content all the way through Roni. So like 1 through 30 plus all the free Roni stuff plus Roni. Another 52 hours we're spending in game. I spent however many hours I needed to get to summit floor 90 and to get the core parts of my build together, and then the rest were just heroic 5 directive convoys until 1000. Will there be a Div 3? Sure, in like 3 to 5 years from now, minimum.
Detecting additional hostile contacts.
Not anytime soon. Tower mode? Are you talking about the summit? Sure. Just a place to go farm some loot. Blueprints. Plan 8, Witchfire in the Hive. I think the only one I remotely heard anything about was like Plan 8 a while back, but the only one in the immediate horizon that is like transparent enough about what it has that actually makes it seem like a good game is Outriders. Everything else is just like basically a trailer and no additional information. Just like the day before. It looks promising. It's a goddamn trailer. You didn't see any authentic gameplay. You saw some heavily scripted, shitty acting. Really like generic stuff that makes you use your imagination about whether or not the game's gonna be good, right? So until you see more, you're in a way hyping yourself up for disappointment. Like the company that's making Div 4, I've never heard of them. I don't know what the hell they've made. They made a trailer that has that Division 1 vibe, a city, and some zombies or whatever, but you didn't see any actual gameplay. You saw a guy walking around role-playing. Who the fuck role-plays when they play a multiplayer game or whatever, you know? Who roleplays GTA? I mean, that's not a normal GTA. That's a roleplay server. All I know is that the day before trailer is just a trailer, and the only reason the Division community is talking about it is because everyone's really fucking desperate for something to do, something to play that's anywhere close to what they're playing in this game. Or in Div 1. Like, just be real about it.
Reinforcements incoming. Incoming hostiles detected. Serious trauma detected.
Division. Kill him.
Hostile control point detected.
The inventory was Tarkov visual with the Tetris kind of like vibe, I guess. Either way, it's still a trailer. You have to like wait for like some proper gameplay, and it's like it's not like teams of people that have never made anything good before can make something like aren't incapable of making something good, but maybe for some people it might be their first ever time seeing a game that drew them in, but that was like early access, and there's been plenty of early access games that drew in a lot of people that ended up being a joke. So keep your expectations low.
Friendly control point nearby.
Like, let's see. Day before dev team. Day before developer fantastic. Who the hell is that? Fantastic. And who are you? Founded in 2015. All remote independent game development company. Okay, so it's a bunch of people working from home.
Unlocked.
They have an English site and a Russian site. So they're entirely remote. No actual office. What else have they made? The Wild 8. Top-down survival game in a low poly world. Let's see, that looks kind of cool. Recent reviews mixed. Overall reviews positive. Let's see. November 10th, 2020. This is an abandoned game. There has not been an update made to it in over a year. The issues it had then are still there now. So they abandoned a game and it's incomplete. Other people are liking it though. But the reviews are mixed. Okay, cool. What's Radiant one? Looks like a mobile game. It says download on the App Store. So they have one random game on Steam. And a mobile game. And now they're working on a game that's supposed to rival Division 1.
Hostile control point identified.
I don't really buy it. After all the AAA flops of the last few years, your expectations can't be any lower. True.
We're all animals preying on each other, doing what we must to survive. Weakness has no place in the city. So muscle up.
It's not like AAA studios nail it each time either. But like... They're like a long stick. But just like, it's just dumb to buy into the hype of something before you see something like concrete, something like actually transparent about what a game might look like or play like or like contain. The trailer accomplished what it set out to do, and that was to generate hype. That's why they, you know, they released the trailer. a trailer timed at a pretty good time when there is no game really out there that. Okay, well, figure out what you're gonna do, damn it. Like, the trailer at least came at a good time. There ain't shit to play. And especially in this game. Or people are dying for more. That trailer almost looked like it could have just been aimed straight at the Division community and be like, yo, I know you guys are desperate as fuck right now. Here's a trailer. I'm not an impulse buyer. I mean, I'm an impulse buyer on different things. Not games, though. I also stream, so it's okay for me to do that stuff. Because it's just the cost of doing business. But, as a regular player, like, my thoughts on Data Before right now are as a regular player, not as a streamer.
At the end of the day,
if Day Before came out tomorrow,
SOLIDFPS is going to be
I would stream it because there would be people that want to see it, and I would. Oh shit! I didn't mean to reset this. So, as a player, no, I wouldn't buy into that game until I had more concrete info. But as a streamer, I buy all sorts of shit. Like even when Avengers came out, I literally told my stream, guys, I'm gonna take one for the team. I'm gonna buy the game, I'm gonna stream it. And we're gonna see if there's any redeeming qualities in this game. You know, because at the time it's like not like we had much else to stream, and you know, new games are always worth streaming. And if it's in the looter shooter genre or whatever, you know, I'll grind it for the stream. But like, I hope to God that, like, you know, from those streams that people then, you know, used it as best they could to judge whether or not it was worth their own purchase. But I know Avengers was a shit game. I explored every last aspect of that game to its full extent, and the game as a whole was pretty fucking bad. Yeah, Marvel and the Avengers, like the movies and the characters and whatever else, are cool. But as a game, that game was the worst looter game I've ever played in my goddamn life. They should have just not made it a loot game, and probably would have had a better time making a game that was worth playing through once, maybe for like a story or something. But instead what they did was basically we're like, hey, let's just try and make our own Destiny but with Marvel characters, and they couldn't design a loot system worth a damn to save their life. They didn't understand like how to make content that was worth your time. Didn't know how to make a loot system that respected the fact that things that are rare, like exotics, probably should be powerful or whatever, right, for your character. There's a lot of decisions they made for the loot system alone that were fucking stupid decisions, and they all wrapped everything up in a power level 2 because Destiny.
Reinforcements en route.
Anthem had better Iron Man gameplay than an Avengers game. I felt like I was playing Iron Man and Anthem way more than the time I spent playing Iron Man as my main character in the Avengers game. Like, that Avengers game was just... And it sucks too, because what's funny is, like, the Avengers game was made by the studios that made the Tomb Raider games, and those were good games. But, like, they clearly were way out of their realm when it comes to making a loot game like that. It almost felt like they literally had some devs on their team that, like, maybe casually play some Destiny here and there. And that was all it took for them to be like, to try to design the game around a loot system like Destiny or something. I don't know. It was pretty bad. I don't know how else I can like describe how like the Avengers game like is justifiably on the bottom of the totem pole in like the looter genre. And on top of that, I think they spent like $100 million or something to make that game, which is pathetic. How do you spend $100 million and that's your end product? Like, how does that happen? It's insane. Is it too late to the game? This game, no. You can play this game whenever. You can play almost the entire thing solo. You can pretend no one else plays it and still have fun with it. The only thing you can't do solo is the raids, so, or the 2 raids. That's the only time you would want other players around. Tips on starting the game? I mean, fire it up. And, don't use the character boost on your first playthrough. Play the game's main missions in order or whatever, and fill in the gaps with the side missions. You don't have to do any other real stuff there until you're like way later into the end game, but I mean, just play the game, have fun. They're not too crazy. The character boost is when you buy the expansion, and I don't recommend using that on your first character. It's something you should just use on like characters 2, 3, and 4 because you're gonna want extra characters for either inventory space or resources or whatever. The character boost is reusable. Plus, you can just make it, if you're entirely new to this game, like, just make a character that's level 1. Play the game from the start. It'll be a better learning experience if you don't have way more stuff to worry about. After that, like, builds don't really matter until your end game, so. That's why I gotta take all the stuff I do know and make like a proper starter guide type of thing, because there's a lot of, there's like a whole list of bullet points that are applicable at different points in this game's journey from 1 to 40 and beyond that are like usable, but I'm not gonna sit here and list them all. If you're new, I mean, at the end of the day, like, literally just enjoy the game for what it is from 1 through 40. Because you won't have to care about your gear or a proper build until you're level 40 trying to play the higher difficulties. PvP any better? No. PvP never stood a chance in this game. Did I buy Dogecoin yet? No, that's a fucking joke. Buying GameStop was one thing, but Dogecoin, I mean, that one's just straight up pissing away a few bucks for the memes, you know. GameStop at one point had a rational reason to get in, and then it got caught crazy and became irrational, and now it's dying. But Dogecoin is just straight up memes. My all-time favorite game, like Half-Life 2, was. So I played Half-Life 2 when it was new, and that was like a cool campaign experience and whatnot. Like the first game to actually have like physics and make that part of the gameplay from way back. Caches. Use the booster, can't you just start from the DLC and get better gear from there? I mean, if you played the game before, I mean, sure. You just do Woney and get the level 40. But if you're 100% new, you should start from level 1 and just play the game for the first time, because that'll ease you in. But if you've played it before, then feel free to boost, I guess. And just do Woney. All you gotta do is just run main missions, right? So the expansion doesn't take too long. The green explosion thing is only active until like next week, which is what makes it worth grinding this game more in the time that you have access to the green explosion thing, the GE. Once you're 40, what should you do? You figure out what kind of build you want to run and make a build. The strongest things to get are gonna be your chest talent, and then like a backpack talent, and then a gun that makes sense with the right talent on it. And once you're in game, it's about making a build so that you can scale yourself up to actually do content on like challenging or heroic. If you like guns, you play red. If you like skills, you play yellow. It is as straightforward as it sounds. The answer to every PvE game ever is more damage. That's still active. So, you get your damage up, you can kill things that are higher level or higher difficulty, and you're set.
Reinforcements en route. Detecting additional hostile contacts.
Like from my experience on this account, I basically only needed to get like one talent on my backpack active, the one that gave me, that's called Vigilance, so I could start killing enemies on challenging. Once I got a talent on my chest, then I started doing heroic. But I'm someone that's played the game a lot, so like, I know how I should fight, and I know how to use the strongest talents and whatnot, so will the average player be able to get away with just using a red build with 2 talents to do heroic? I don't know. Up to you to test your limits and figure it out. You're speedrunning again? What, the raids? But ultimately, everyone should be playing at least on challenging or heroic difficulty, either or. Whether you're newer or less experienced, maybe just stick to challenging. If you are more confident, have a better build, whatever, then play heroic. I barely spent any time playing on challenging before I jumped up to heroic on this account. But that's because I'm playing a build that scales damage up really well, really fast.
Supply room max.
You're revisiting Dark Hours? Wow. That sounds like your group's boredom. Isn't an all-time high if you're deciding to go back to some speedrunning of a raid from over a year ago. Can't do a main mission on challenging. You're not level 40 endgame yet. You just play the game. Difficulty settings are for endgame. Plus, once you're level 40, like, you're honestly wasting your time playing missions unless you just like playing missions. Your only goal is leveling up. You do convoys on Heroic 5 directives or whatever. If your only goal is to get gear, you just go to like Summit Floor 90 and just farm bosses up there. If you're trying to be like the fastest at one of those two categories. Those are the fastest ways to get things in this game. That's why I got the Shade rank 1000 in 72 hours of gameplay. On a fresh account. Solo. But it's ultimately your own run, your own playthrough, your own source of entertainment, so like... Not everyone prioritizes 100% progress and goals the way I do.
Control point secured. Well done.
I don't expect people to play this game exactly the way I do.
Reinforcements incoming. Incoming hostiles detected.
Can I move my character? No. Just like animation locks, he meleeed me in the phone. There we go. What's up, Commander? What's our comment? What's our blueprint looking like? How many more do we have to do?
Supply room access unlocked.
Shitload, never mind. Puzzle break 762. Probably just do these all. The majority of attachments in this game are terrible. You don't have to craft them all, but like you might as well just to not worry about it. You might die of boredom. Well, if you don't feel like playing this game, you could try and gamble on the stock market, dude. Or on crypto. That's a fun game. PvP with real money. It's a battle royale out there. Wait, did we actually get a sturdy extended mag? Oh yeah, we did. Nice. We can run AKs now, and
Could use some more crafting.
or we can run any AR now.
Really should make myself a nice
These are the most important magazines right here. The only way to make AR is actually worth a damn. In game PvE. You know, on the big mag, you are incredibly disadvantaged. Another game like this on Xbox? Yeah, that's the problem we all have right now. There are no good alternatives to this game. Either you like the casual side of looter shooters like playing Destiny, I guess. You can hop between this and Destiny. But if you don't like Destiny, then this is really your only option. And then you have like Borderlands, which if you haven't already played that, like, you know, it can be fun, but it doesn't have the longevity this game does. And not everyone likes super colorful games, so like, you know, I can get that. Hey, your options are very limited if you want to shoot stuff while looting stuff, so especially if you're on console. Like if you're on PC, then you at least have the option of going to play Tarkov, I guess, if you want to play a more realistic looking game. That's basically this game's Dark Zone, but like way more hardcore. Oh, I can make these now. Sick. I needed that for something. What was I optimizing with this? My chest? Yeah, I can optimize this. It's lucky. Now we need like a bunch of those things. That's what the watch is for. Both these stages to cost the same. 28 of those. One more stage after this. We need 50 of those and 30 of those. Let's clean our inventory first. There's a bunch of stuff we don't need. So yeah, it's kind of, that's the thing that's kind of funny about, wow. It's too bad it's headshot damage. That would have been kind of cool to keep. Not that the Carbine 7's great, but it's cool to have one where the talent's rerollable.
Need help crafting something? Good to see. I can help you craft, but I'm out of
take the Black Tusk thing. Need 50 of those. That's 250 of that. Do it 3 more times, which means we need like 500 something like this.
Good to see you. You need anything?
Yo, Goken with the raid. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. Welcome on in, dudes. We're on a new account. Pushing probably like 80 hours. 70 something to 80 something hours at this point on a fresh account. 40,000 shade, you know. Good stuff, good stuff. Can probably get rid of this now. Alright, so we maxed out our little chain killer. We maxed out our exotics. And it shouldn't be that much longer until we basically just max out the named items. So what's it gonna take for this? They made optimization so cheap, dude. Flags and those. I mean, I can burn shade ranks on that instead of farming for them. Sick gloves, this. Another 14 of those and 40 of those. Like 14 or 15. 40. That's 15. But yeah, hope you had a good stream, man. There we go. Yet another maxed out item. We're pretty much gonna get stopped by needing maxed out headshot mods and like maxed out skill mods, I think. If we want to be that serious about our stats. Like, I remember when Opti first came out, you know, and it was like way more expensive. It's like, as a new player, it's really not that big of a deal. Because you have so many materials you'll just accumulate by the time you are at the point where you should even think about optimizing. Do you have a video on the crafting here? No. Got your memento bag just now? Congrats, bro. Pretty much everything I would know about this game or whatever is either in my head or in like older videos or in my Discord. I mostly stream, I don't make videos. The plan with this account, everything we've done on it, is to take what we've done and make something out of it. But it all takes time. My Division 2 PC settings video, that is one that, you know, that's still relevant these days. I don't need to change that or anything. Do I have crashes? No.
Hostile control point identified.
Eat this!
Immediate
Leave me
medical
alone.
assistance needed.
Don't care about your stupid territory control. They're really still coming. Alright, whatever.
Reinforcements en route.
What the hell?
This is it.
Heavily armored hostile detected.
How often do I upgrade my PC?
Detecting additional hostile contacts.
But I haven't needed to. If you buy one that's like really good, then you don't really need to worry about it for quite a while.
I got
So you're already buying like a high-end machine, you're probably good to go for at least 4 years, unless like you really like burning money on the latest and greatest like every 2 years or something. Alright, you know, only another like 100 to 150 control points. We'll have all the blueprints. It's a process.
Supply room access unlocked. Hostile control point nearby.
I think it's pretty impressive that by the time you're 1000 shade and haven't touched the Opti station, like you pretty much have a huge surplus of materials for each item slot. So it's actually cheaper to max everything out because you naturally accumulate stuff without even trying. Wolf Creek, take care, dude.
Reinforcements incoming.
how you like that? You're not going. Clear the perimeter.
really?
Heavily armored hostile.
One down.
Incoming hostiles detected.
Don't need luck. I mean, I already spent my luck on this run. My first exotic cache while climbing the summit gave me a memento, so that was the luckiest moment of this whole run. Not that grinding for it is that hard. It's just hilarious that the one item I really needed dropped immediately. The global event? Yeah, if you want to make things explode, you gotta go to your season menu and go to the GE and then activate it there.
Can't take much more fire.
Friendly control point detected.
Does it matter what level you are? I don't know. I guess you have to be level 40 endgame or something for global events, but I'm not sure. I wonder if you could use it during the leveling process. Getting headshot claws out from GE caches.
Hostile control
I
point
gotta open some of those at some
identified.
point, but yeah, it'd be really funny if that actually drops. Still gotta max out my Fox's Prayer and my Punch Strong.